ブラザー、早くしなさい。オーケー。
All right, let's get straight to the biscuits. At 0800 hours this morning, an American soldier was eaten by a Nazi dinosaur.
That's a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
No, Claire, that's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Try thinking first before you open your mouth. Close your mouth.
Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today, week 5, sketch cover madness. We're going to jump right into it. Do something a little different today, something a little more high concept maybe. And yeah, let's just jump into it. We'll switch over here. We'll slide over here. And yeah, we're going to go right into it. Full screen. Drop some inks. Paper quality was much better this time around, I found. And yeah, we'll blind you here. Boom. All right. So away we go. We're just going to grind this out, throw our trusty glove on, and away we go. I attempt to catch up on the weeks. All right. Got our pica ruler here. You know, I'm probably going to attempt to keep this covered until the end to kind of show off what my plan is for this Scott Snyder, Tony Daniel, Francis Manipal Val special. Hello, Bobby. How you doing? Good, sir. We're going to pop in here, and away we go. You know, I guess we'll slide up a little. People can see the full cover. There we go. All right. We get comfy in our seats. You know how it is. Everybody gets comfy. You know. Hello, Sumo. How you doing? Yep, Noctera, Val special. We're jumping in, and yeah, let's go. I might crank up the brightness on this. You'll know if you get blinded. Not much I can do about it. But I need to see. I need my eyes for the seeing. I think we can speak. Yeah, we're all clear. All right. How's everybody doing tonight? Bobby, Sumo, how you guys living? Yeah, I'll probably try to get 3 covers done this week. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how the time permits. Yeah, we're just jumping right into it. Old man back is acting up. Damn. See it? Hopefully it's still on camera. Oh yeah. Alright. Yeah, just let me know if I pull things away. too far from the camera, yell at me, write me a sternly worded letter. You know how it is. Yeah. I actually, like, when I was kind of... Here's the funny thing, right? Like, I picked up a bunch of these sketch covers, right? And some of the stuff I was kind of unfamiliar with, but I had kind of seen and thought looked cool. And Nocterra was one of those books. And then when I started reading the book, I was like, oh, this is actually all right. You know, Tony S. Daniel in there. Got some cool art. I mean, here's the funny thing I'm going to say about Tony Daniel's art. Sometimes I really like it, and other times I'm like, hey, you just drew a rectangle and said it was a truck. Like a top-down view of a truck. And so it's kind of hit or miss for me. Like, sometimes I'm just like, wow, I love this stuff. And other times I'm just kind of like, hey, you kind of phoned that in. So yeah, it can be very, very hit or miss. But that's just how it is. You know, and I get it. Schedules. I'm sure my stuff would look very different if I had to do a book on a monthly schedule. I just know the corners that you would have to cut just to get things out on time and still look good. That's the thing. You know, because I try to maintain a consistency with my style and my work. Hello, awesome one. How you doing? If we go all time, and Nicole Smith, 1993 is my dream woman. All right. Yeah. Sydney Sweeney. Yeah, I mean, she's got a rockin' bod, that's for sure. There is no doubt about that. It is a very nice piece of kit that she is working with. That is for sure. Yeah, it's also been weird, like, everybody's streaming. Like, it's, like, insane. Oh, come on now. He clearly explained the situation around those covers and the timing for them. Right? Like, and here's the thing, the environment that I'm doing these in isn't like a con environment, isn't like a timed environment, right? Like, I'm going, okay, I'm going to block some time away, I'm going to design and lay out something, and then I'm going to put it on a sketch cover, right? Like, and so I'm not at a con and someone's going, oh, could you draw so-and-so for me? Could you do whoever? And there's like a part of that, like, where, you know, like, I remember I was at a convention and I seen a guy just essentially do the same Wolverine bust, but sometimes his hand was up, sometimes his hand had a cigar in it, sometimes his hand had the claws popped, but it was the exact same drawing every time, right? Yeah. Well, it's good to have you here, awesome one. You know, glad to see you. You know, we're just here doing the art thing, talking about random nonsense, and you know, seeing where it goes, seeing what I can pull off and get away with on these sketch covers before people go, those aren't sketch covers, those are art pieces. And I go, uh-huh. You know. Yep. Thanks. You know, because if anything, I don't know, I like to plan things out, I like to lay them out. You know, and also the other thing is too, is like, if you didn't know, like, most people aren't even going to know what Nocterra is, right? So if some dude came up and said, dude, I love your work, will you draw a Nocterra piece? And I'd be like, dude, I don't even know what the fuck that is. And I didn't till I got these books. You know, I was kind of like, hey, it looks cool. Same with the Liquid Kill. I kind of was looking through that and I was like, I'm not sure about this book, but I'm going to do a sketch cover for it and do something cool and hopefully people dig it, right? Like, that's the kind of thing where, you know, you're not always drawing things that you're passionate about per se. But I always want to do a cool piece, no matter what it is, right? And so I always also want to make something that people who are fans of the work think are cool. Like if you're a fan of Nocterra, hopefully when this piece is done, they would look at it and go, hey, that's pretty cool, I dig that. Because that's like this part of the book, or that's, you know, what's going on right now, that kind of thing. And you just kind of go, oh, that's cool, you know? So yeah, I don't know. I just like, I don't know. I don't want to be the guy that just does random headshots of things, or, you know, whatever. I'm always kind of conscious about what I'm trying to do, and do something that kind of is representative of whatever it is I'm doing. And not in a, hey, it's just Wolverine 100 times. Sometimes his hand is up, sometimes he's holding a cigar, sometimes he's popping his claws, and it's the same drawing over and over every time. I would like these pieces to be kind of special, you know, because I'm doing 52 of them, and, you know, doing this traditional stuff. And so I'm kind of just experimenting as we go. I think I'm going to do a dip pen cover just for the fucking sake of it. But we'll see. Well, he didn't hit those ones specifically. I don't think he did at a con. I think he said he got messaged on Monday. If I'm recalling correctly, it was just the other day. He got messaged on Monday to do the Back to the Future ones, and he had to have them done and shipped to the guy so he could have them on by Saturday. So he, you know, he did however many of those covers in a couple days and just fired them out. And you know, that's how it is sometimes. You just gotta get the work out, and that's it. Need an extra piece of paper. Scribble on. No, numbers written all over it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of finding that the pencil itself, once you put the blue line on, it makes the paper very waxy. One of these I might just use a traditional pencil just to kind of see if it makes more of a mess or whatever. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, like, that's the thing, like, and I get, you know, like, I kind of get Shelby's point of view where he's like, just do the piece and move on. Just do the piece and move on. And, you know, because you're like, you know, and you learn from it, you look back at it and go, I hate that. I won't do that next time. But, like, I like, you know, one of the things I like about sketching or even working in digital is because there doesn't have to be a next time. You can look at it and go, I did that wrong, and fix it right there on the spot. And then next time you don't make that mistake, right? Or hopefully you don't. Right? That's the thing. And it's like, it's a different mindset, but I don't have anything against it, right? Like, I get it. I get where people just want to do what they're doing and move forward and kind of don't look back that much. You know, and it's kind of like that thing where you're going to see some people. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Asians. You know, they're all right. You know, I subscribe to their newsletter. That's just me. Gonna tell anybody, you know, what kind of fan they should be. Yep, Noah out on these streets, making enemies with people he thought were his friends. You know how it is. You know how it is. I already sketched out some of the other ones. There's a Gargoyles one that I'm going to do a Demona on. What was the other one? Oh, the Conan. What was the other one? I want to do 3 this week, and so yeah, we'll try to do 3 streams this week and see if I can squeeze them in and get caught up. But can't make any promises. We had a big storm here this weekend. Got like over 90 centimeters of snow. Some places got like 150, so they're getting like feet. They're getting feet of snow. You know what I'm saying? It was wild. I was not a fan because I couldn't go and work on the house this weekend, which I wanted to. I think I might use a fatter line for that. Let's do that. Go 5. Move on. Sweet Summer Child. Yeah, I'm really getting annoyed with the waxes. There's got to be a better way. And it's been really annoying. There's been a bunch of games and stuff getting delisted. And that stuff stuck so bad. I mean, it's good for me as a person who collects physical media. Not sure if any of you guys are aware of this game called Spec Ops: The Line. It was on PC, Xbox 360, PS3. It's from that generation, kind of like, I'd say 2008, 2009 maybe that game came out. Anyway, they just pulled it from all the stores because of all the music in it. It had like some Jimi Hendrix and stuff like that. And the license expired for the music, so they pulled the game and you can no longer purchase it. And that, my friends, is why digital media bullshit. And you should always own physical copies of all your media. Then no one can take it from you. No one can stop it from being sold, and no one can change it or edit it to remove the things that you loved about it. Go get yourself physical copies of the things you enjoy. But yeah, it was actually a really cool game though as well, Spec Ops. It was kind of a surprise just because of how kind of wild the storyline was. Really went in on it. Yeah, it kind of became like a kind of cult classic, I guess would be the best kind of way to describe it. You know? You need the eagle clip. Okay. Listen, if anything...
Problem up here.
Everybody sit down.
Greetings, Colonel.
I said sit down! Now, you know how I don't like to use the sit-down gun, but this morning we just don't have time for mucking about. Major Allied cities have come under attack
Nazis?
Close your mouth.
Now myself personally, Sumo, I would not buy a game that I knew was incomplete on the disc or on the cart, right? So that's my opinion. I wouldn't do it. But like if that's your only way to play the game, you know, what are you gonna do, right? Like, hello, Henry. Today, I'm purposefully covering over this side as we get to it, as I've went a little high concept on it. But you can sort of see if you look squint. This is the Scott Snyder, Tony Daniel, Francis Manipal, Noctera Val special, and we are doing the lovely lady herself. Book's actually surprisingly good. You know, it's interesting. I like some of the character designs and stuff like that, and yeah, it's one of those things. Like, it's surprisingly good. Doesn't seem to have, you know, a lot of BS in it, and that's a good thing. Good thing. But yeah, we're gonna do a bunch of sketch covers this week, Henry. Probably 3. No, probably 3, so that I can get caught up. Because this is week 5. You know, that's the kind of thing. But yeah, I'll probably do, unless I'm not feeling it. I'll probably do a Gargoyles one, either I have two different Gargoyles blanks. I have a Dark Ages one and I have a regular Gargoyles one. So I might do an Elisa Maza from Gargoyles, and I might do a Demona on the Dark Ages one. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Depends on how I'm feeling. You know, just in whatever I'm in the mood to actually crank out. And then I have some Conan blanks. I got Savage Tale. I got Red Sonja. Spider Gwen. You know, I got another Power Rangers blank, but it's like a white blank. It's like at least decent paper. You know. Yeah, I'm kind of going a little higher concept, something a little different. And so, you know, I broke out a ruler and everything. You know, you'll see. Like I said, like, it's one of those things where if you're a fan of the book, you'll get it, right? If you're not a fan of the book, you might be like, that's weird, or that's cool. And both of those things are fine. I'm down with either. You know? Brush. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm still in the, like, am I doing too much for a sketch cover? You know, what do people expect from them? Because I see some people do them, and I'm like, well, that's not really a sketch cover. You know, because, like, if I was at a con, I wouldn't have the time to kind of lay this out and kind of, you know, space everything out and slap a ruler down and do that kind of stuff, right? So there's definitely a part of it where, you know, you're kind of playing a different game, I guess would be the best way to describe it. You're not really on that, like, con thing, sitting at a convention. You forgot your favorite pen. You're like, I guess I'll crank this out 300 times today because everybody wants a Spider-Man or a Thor or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I don't typically draw a lot of the normal things that you would see. Like, I don't draw a lot of superhero stuff because there are tons of people already doing that, right? Like, it's, I don't know. I got to a point when I was younger and I was kind of like, why would I want to do a Spider-Man book, let's say? Like, what, you know, like, I can be the 150th guy to draw him swinging through the city. you know, and I don't know, it just, there was kind of, I don't know, it was just a weird, like, realization, a weird, like, you know, never, Noah. Yeah, like, and I agree, you know, I agree, Shelby. I agree that they're not supposed to be finish art, but I'm sitting at home, right? Like, I'm in my office at my desk. I've got to provide some form of entertainment, quote unquote. And so, like, I'm just like, I'm going to do a more refined piece. Like, I'm not going to spend as long as I would on another thing, like, you know, like a regular piece. But I'm going to spend a little bit more time to lay it out and think about it, right? Like, and so that's kind of what I've decided to do, you know, and because, like I said, like, you know, it's not a con environment. I'm not drawing the 50th Wolverine of the day, you know, and so I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to do something a little different, a little bit more thoughtful, and yeah, hopefully people like it. Like, I'm just doing the kind of things I would normally do, but just less refined, less thought about. You know, because, like, I don't know, my traditional way of working on things, a lot of the time is, you know, I'll come up with the idea, I'll do like a rough layout or sketch, and I'll kind of start cleaning it up and refining it. And then I'll do two other things, like, you know, that I'm still thinking about. And then I'll come back. I'll kind of work on 3 or 4 pieces, like in a loop. I'll just keep going over them. Like, I'll be like, okay, I'm working on this page, or I'm working on this, you know, whatever. And I'll just kind of circle back through things, because I like to give stuff space to breathe, right? Like, I'm not, I don't know. And anytime I do stuff for other people, like, they're usually like, hey, I need this in 2 weeks. And so 2 weeks is plenty of time to get something done. Like, you know, when somebody tells me they need something in like a day or whatever, I go, hey, maybe I'm not the person to ask. I just don't have the patience or the want to give somebody something that I'm not going to be happy with in a day, right? But yeah, I don't know. I'm just that kind of thing. Like, I got asked the other day, and if I was interested in working, like, they messaged, like, you know, I'm not going to say who it is or anything like that, but they were like, hey, do you do interiors? And I was like, yeah, I'm working on a book right now. And then they were like, oh, you know, like, do you have any samples or whatever? And I was like, I do. And they were like, would you be interested in working on an anthology? And the second they said the word anthology, I was like, pumped the brakes and was like, no, man, I don't think I'd be right. Like, you know, I immediately went to like, oh, I'm so busy right now. Like, I was like, there's no money in an anthology. I don't want to be in a book with like 40 other people and not make any money on it. Get out of here. Go away. No offense, because you could be watching this at some point or whatever time. But I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to work for exposure. I'm not interested in it. I don't care, right? And so, and plus, if you want me to do however many pages, that's a big commitment, right? Like, if you want 20 pages or 30 or 40 pages or even 10 pages, to me, that's still a big chunk of time, because I like to color my own work and all that stuff. And so I'm not interested in taking something that's practically going to cost me money, right? Yeah, exactly, Shelby. And the second he was like, oh, it's this anthology, I was like, no! I was like, I ran. And, you know, and no offense to the guy, or whatever, but I'm just like, it's not interesting to me. It's not something, you know, I don't want to do some anthology about whatever. Wax gets on these pencils. I mean, the wax from the pencils, get on this. And so, yeah, I was just like, I can't do this. I'm busy. You know, and it's not a lie. It's just, if it was something I was interested in, I would have tried to make time. But I'm just not interested in, you know, stuff like that. Like, it's just, you know, you want me to draw some art to put on a card or a box art or something, cool. I'll see you in a couple days with a finished piece, you know. Yeah, you want me to do like page work for peanuts? Not happening. It's not happening. It's just too time consuming. It's just like, you know, at least if it was work that I was going to be proud of, right? Like, I'm not going to do that kind of stuff. I'd rather work on my own stuff, right? Yeah, exactly, you know. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of, you know. But like, there was a book that, and it came out and it got finished, that I talked to. You'd have to pay me like incredibly well to do anything like that. Like, even if I liked it, it's still a ton of time. I could make a you know, a fake gem book. Yeah, like, it would be more worth my time to work on my own stuff than to do some anthology that, you know, that's the thing, right? I don't know, you can only like do things for, this is gonna sound weird, right? But you can only do things for the love of it and exposure bucks, you know, or whatever you want to call it, for so long before you're the one that's always getting the bad end of that deal, right? Like, you're doing all the work, you know, and people like, there was a book that was supposed to come out. The artist bailed on them. I talked to the person about doing the book. I said, okay, I think it was 40 or 48 pages. I was like, that's bare minimum 2.5 months of work, right? Like, bare minimum. And I was like, and then you would want me to go on streams probably and talk about the book, right? And I was like, $5,000 US. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah. Like, I was like, I wouldn't even look at that like that for anything less. And they were just like flabbergasted. Like, and I was like, dude, it's like 2 months of work. Like, I was like, that's a deal. Like, I was like, and you're getting me to show up. Like, you know, and so a lot, like, and I've even had that with covers. Like, I've been like, hey, this is what I would do a cover for. Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, but like, that's the thing. Like, I was just like, you know, you're still getting a deal. You might balk at the thing. Like, I've even had people pop into my DMs. Why so low? Because I'm going to be honest, that is low. That is low for my time. Like, because they were a bigger thing, and I was like, hey, and this was a few years back. So I was like, this might be good to like help establish myself in the scene, so to speak. If I kind of swooped in and pulled this off, right? And so I was going to do it. Like, I was like, this is what I would do, but I wouldn't do it for any less than this, and that's it, right? And that was my low end. And so I was like, you know, and it's work for hire stuff. I wouldn't own any of it or anything like that. And so I was like, I could, you know, there was a book that was pretty much done. I could come in and redraw most of it and finish it, and it would have been worth my, you know, my time at that. And the exchange rate would have been good. It probably would have been closer to, what, like 7,000 at the time or something like that, Canadian maybe, you know. So I was like, yeah, you know, the exchange rate doesn't hurt, stuff like that, you know. And so, but yeah, like, and then the book got done and it kind of looked like ass and whatever. But yeah, I don't know. But that's the thing. Like, I've had all kinds of weird offers. Like, I had a weird offer to basically like be an art director on the book, and then I was like, okay, well, if you want me to like go in and tell your artist about the color palette and all this kind of stuff, because I was talking to them on a stream, and I started saying like, oh, you could do this and that and the other, whatever. And they were like, oh, would you like to work on the book? And then as soon as I talked to them, I said, this is what I would do, basically being the book's like overview, art director, whatever you want to call it. You know, and they were like, oh, you want to be paid? And I was like, yeah, why would I do it for free? Why would I put a whole bunch of time essentially being an art editor and be like, okay, this panel doesn't make sense, this doesn't do whatever, you know? Yeah, like, I agree, right? Like, 100% agree with Shelby there. Line art lowball should be around 125 in the crowdfund scene. Took way too low rate. A few gigs. Be taking those rates ever again, especially when they made a killing off my back. Well, yeah, exactly. Like, you know, like, why at this point, I would rather work on my own stuff than work on stuff for other people, right? Like, that's kind of the thing. Because at the end of it, I will have something I'm really proud of and will make me money. And I won't have ran around and worked for other people. Because I've talked to other people about working on books, right? And I've talked to other people about working on covers and all kinds of stuff like that. And I'm just kind of like, because, you know, some people be like, oh, but it's indies, dude. Like, oh, you know, like you can't expect whatever. And I'm like, what are you paying yourself? You know? And that's the thing. Like, you know, it's like, oh, if the campaign does well, what are you getting out of it? Why, like, if I'm going to do the bulk of the work, then pay me to do the bulk of the work, you know? And like, especially in this kind of thing, like a lot of the people are like, oh, well, you know, you'd obviously come on streams and talk about the book and, you know, show it off and whatever. And I was like, is that obvious? Is it obvious that I would come on a stream and promote the book while I'm getting paid nothing to do it? Is that obvious? That's something I should be doing? Yeah, like, so anyway, like, I've turned down quite a bit of offers or queries, whatever you want to call it, interest in people asking me to do the work. Because, and I've had to explain to people, I'm like, you know, I've said to them, because they're like, oh, you're asking way too much to do a cover. And I'm like, you came to me, dude. You obviously think my work is good enough that it would add value to your project. So you would show my work on your campaign or on your video or, you know, on whatever it is you're doing and use that to promote everything. I'm a fan of noses, Shelby. I like noses. You know, Asian noses are fine. You know? But yeah, like, you know, so you see a lot of people, you know, and I'm sure Shelby's had this plenty of times, you know, and I'm sure he's had it more than I have. I like a cute button nose. You know what I'm saying? You know. But anyway, like, you know, I'm sure Shelby has had it like way more than I have. You know, someone comes to you and says, hey man, I'd really like, oh, I love your work. And then you drop a price and they go, dude, what? And you're just like, yeah, you're asking me. Like, you know, like that's the thing I find hilarious when people come to an artist and they act like they're doing you a favor by getting you to draw something. And I'm just like, no, you're coming to me because you like what I do. Like, I'm the guy with the advantage here. Go away. I don't need to draw anything for you. Phil, I am drawing on the Scott Snyder, Tony Daniel, Nocterra Val special. You know, titular character and all. And yeah, we're doing something a little different here with it. And you know, we'll see how it turns out. But yeah, like I don't know. I don't know. I kind of keep to myself with a lot of this stuff, you know, and like I've done so it's a fair bit of stuff in the background for people that like a lot of people will never know that I've done. And then there's stuff like the stuff I did, you know, for Patrick. Like the Johnny Phantasm box art and the card backs for the collector cards with Seven in the Cockpit and that Ultra Girl poster, you know, stuff like that. Stuff that I'm really proud of. I really liked seeing people frame that Ultra Girl poster and have it like on their shelf, like beside their like mask and G.I. Joe stuff and whatever. I was just like, that's fucking wild. Like, you know, I don't know. There's something cool about that where people are putting like your work, you know, in pride of place in their home, and you know, it could be beside anything else, like, you know, they could put anything else there instead. You know, because they have Transformers and G.I. Joe and Mask and all this other cool stuff, and then they're like, hey, I like this poster that you did, it's pretty dope. That stuff's fun. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I like seeing that stuff. You know, but that's the thing, like, you gotta get paid. You gotta get paid to do that stuff. Don't do it for free. Don't do it for anybody. And I did get paid to do that stuff. That was good. Yeah, right? Like, and that's the thing, like, even after all this time, my family doesn't really understand what I do. Right? They're just like, oh, you know, and so that's fine. They just understand that I get paid to do stuff, and you know, that's kind of it. And that's fine. Like, I'm just like, you know, kind of explaining to like people who just don't have any concept, because like, I mean, that's the thing, like, most people don't even understand that, like, there's artists involved in video games. Like, you know what I mean? They're just like, what? Somebody draws Mario? You know, and they put him in a game? And you're like, yeah, like all the Street Fighter characters, like in Street Fighter 2, were hand-drawn. They drew them, and then they brought them in and, you know, pixelated the art, because they had to bring it down to such a low resolution, it's all pixels, right? And so, like, a lot of people just don't even understand that, like, all that stuff was drawn by hand, you know, by little Japanese men in Japan, you know, you know, or that, like, somebody designed Crash, you know, Bandicoot or Spyro the Dragon or Sonic the Hedgehog, you know, that kind of stuff. That early Sonic was very much based off of Mickey Mouse. You know, like Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse kind of look. Like, you know, he even stands there and taps his foot, just like Mickey Mouse. Like, you know, Yeah, a lot of that stuff, people just don't understand like how integral art is to the creation of everything else, right? Rumbleroo, question. How do you see the difference between covers and interior art? Time spent and detail put in? Well, I mean, it depends on, like, covers. If someone's asking you to do a cover, it's to help sell their book, right? So you're going to do something more dynamic, something more interesting than two people having a conversation at the front door before someone goes to work, right? Like, so you're definitely going to put more effort into certain things than others. Like, no matter what it is. Like, you know, if there's a big action scene, you're obviously going to put more effort into that than somebody handing somebody a coffee, right? Like, you know, you're going to try to do it and keep the quality the same through the book, but are you necessarily going to put a full background in with a whole bunch of people in the cafe? Or are you just going to kind of zoom in on them with a hand going, you know, like, here's the coffee, like, you know, and it just kind of hands it in, right? And it's all about what you're trying to do. Like if you're going through like a panel flow and you're trying to go for the page turn, like, is that going to spill the coffee when you turn the page? Like, are you building any tension, or is it just a throwaway scene to build atmosphere, right? And yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and I'm seeing it in a lot of indie comics and a lot of people like in this indie space. And when you read their books, it's like they've never read a comic book. They've made a comic book, but it's like, I feel like they don't understand panel flow or writing for the page turn or how splash pages work or any of that kind of stuff, right? And so I'm just like, have you read comics? Have you like looked at any how-to comics? Have you looked at a comic page and thought, why doesn't it work, right? And then went, well, wouldn't it be better if this guy moved to the right instead it was facing left? Like, that's also the thing, like, on covers, right? On a cover, you should never have your character, if there's like Superman, let's say, flying, he should never be flying to the left. He should always be flying and moving to the right, because he leads into the book. He leads into you opening the page. If he's over looking to the left, you've done fucked up, right? And like, that's the kind of the thing that like boggles my mind. Maybe 1 out of 9 actually understand storytelling. A lot of pinup artists out there jumping into book over us. Yeah, and like and you could see that too. Like, you can see like a lot of people just putting out these books, and it's like, you know, like a lot of really flat square panels. Nothing's really happening, nothing dynamic, nothing interesting. Yeah, like it's weird. It's like super frustrating to see someone, because like it's no fucking joke. It's like comics are weird, right? Like, anybody can like pick up a piece of paper and draw. And he flies over here, and this little guy's here, and he's like, hello. And then he's like flying over here, and he's woo, and he lands, and he's like, hey, right? Like, comics are one of the easiest and most accessible art forms available, right? Like, anybody who can draw a stick figure can technically go out there and make a comic, right? Like, it's not necessarily has to be like high-end super level, right? Like, the medium is just as much indie, weird, weird trash, weird, goofy, barely passable art that's just dumb, to high-end people trying to tell sophisticated stories, and, you know, like Milk and Cheese, or, you know, I don't know, whatever you want to think of that's high-end, like, you know, Watchmen, or I don't know, some Mobius stuff, whatever fills your boots, right? Like, we're not gonna go into it, but like the movement on the page is like a Z. It's always supposed to go in this kind of movement so that you're following and your eye is led across the page in these Z patterns, right? Like if you're doing stuff and like this happens here and then this goes over here and this goes up and this, like, it's just nonsense, right? And so you see a lot of really bad books, or it's like there's just this weird nebulous panel, you know, and you're just like, well, what's this nebulous panel? What's happening here? Am I supposed to go to this, and then am I going over here, or am I going down here? And then there's some weird inset here and whatever. And sometimes I'm just like, what the fuck is this supposed to be telling me? And I don't know if it's the writer giving incredibly bad direction to the artist, and the artist is like, I fucking don't know, or the artist just doesn't understand visual storytelling. Right? Like, Shelby's like, I always have my students work out things in the thumbnail form that I can cut and paste onto a new sheet of paper for better flow. A lot of these dudes don't do layouts first. I always describe comics as text. In the States, we read left to right, so the eye should flow in that general direction. Exactly. And it's like, even when you look at manga, because they read right to left, you know, and back in the day, they used to flip manga to release over here in like the 80s and 90s. They would flip the pages, and if there were signs, they would flip them and all that kind of stuff. You know, and they follow all the same tenets, right? Like the page flow, the scenes that are impactful, page turns being very important and impactful, and what happens on the next page, you know, and writing for the page turn, like all that stuff is super important. And like, I just don't understand why some of the people do the things they're doing. Like, if you love this medium enough to get up there and put yourself on a crowdfunding platform and push a book, you know, yeah, mouth breathing, I suppose. But like, here's the other thing. Like, this has been one of those things that I say to people, and it makes them really upset. And like, persistence beats resistance every time, right? So, and this is why I think a lot of people actually get ahead when they probably shouldn't, right? You see a lot of people who are very mediocre at their craft, but they're so willing to push it on anybody and show it to everyone and go out there and talk it up and talk it up and talk it up, that they just win through attrition, right? They just keep persisting and they keep persisting, and it keeps showing up, and you're like, what is this? Why is this always showing up? Why is this dude always talking up this book that looks like trash, right? And then you see people buying it and like, oh, I bought it, it's not that bad, because they got worn down. They got worn down. And so eventually it's just around so much that they just, some people just pick it up. It's just sheer, through its existence and the guy continuing to do it, it gets out there, right? And so some people's just sheer insistence, they insist upon us and themselves that like their work needs to be seen, right? Like, sometimes people are better salesmen than they are creators, right? They just out there and they'll go door to door and they'll do it, while other people who do incredible art just, you know, are I don't know, they're just not getting seen, right? And so it's very bizarre. Hello, Jim Cox. How you doing? Hello, Arik. Most manga have better page flow than American comics. It's true. Like, I read way, like, I'm gonna say by a factor of 10, I read way more manga than traditional comics. You know, I still pick up trades and I still pick up like omnibus and stuff like that for classic stuff, right? But as far as new comics go, I don't read a lot of new stuff. Like, it's just, there's no one talking about new stuff. And anytime anyone's talking about new stuff, it's because there's a vaguely ethnic girl in it with the side of her head shaved, and she is now the replacement for that character you used to like, right? And I'm just like, okay, thanks. Like, you've basically told me you don't want me to read your book. Okay, cool. Thank you. I'll take my money elsewhere. But that's how it is. Peter David's Hulk Run. Something to recommend to students. Oh, speaking of, did you see that they're putting out that Herb Trimp Godzilla collection? Big omnibus, Shelby? I seen that up for pre-order. I am very stoked for that. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna get drawn here. God damn it, Angela. In here, causing everybody to get derailed. Yeah, like, I don't know, like, I'm a simple man. And simple in the regard that if you can show me visually appealing characters, like if I just see a really cool character and I like the design and it's either really cool or really sexy and cool, and badass and whatever, and you just kind of go, wow, that looks awesome. I'm probably going to check it out. I'm going to have a slight interest. I'm gonna be piqued. My interest is gonna be slightly piqued. But yeah, check that out, Shelby. It comes out in October. The pre-orders started for it. I'm definitely gonna get that. I was like, ooh, that's cool. I'm excited about. It's a really weird time because like a lot of the modern stuff sucks, but we've had almost unprecedented access to the back catalog in a weird way, right? Like, and there's holes and there's weird things happening. Like, it's not perfect, but it's really good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of stuff that, that I would only dream of getting in formats like that. And now we're getting them. So that's cool. I don't know. I just like being excited about stuff, and I hate seeing something and immediately knowing that it's not for me when it's something that like used to be for me. Like, when you're like, oh, all right, thanks, guys. I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Who's not supposed to say hi? What? I will always say hello to Jim Cox. What up, good sir? Or ma'am. I wouldn't want to misgender. That's just me. But yeah, but also looking through these books, like seeing Francis Manapul and Tony Daniel doing stuff. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Francis Manapul's stuff. Just because it has this really fun energy to it, So seeing these guys doing cool books, always cool. And there's some good designs in this book. That's kind of the thing that kind of sold me on it. But yeah, like I did pick up a bunch of these blanks, more just because like I kind of was like, hey, that looks interesting. Not because I had any real attachment to it or knew what the hell they were. Because yeah, like I don't know, this is a good excuse as any to both stream, and also draw things. That's just me. My annoyance with like a lot of the here was the really pleasant thing. This cover on the inside has nothing on it. I was stoked about that. Has no print, has no shiny anything. So it was really good, because that Turtles one, man, as soon as that Copic got on that green paper, and on the other side was a super high gloss, and it seemed to just repel the Copics. They were like floating on top. It was crazy. They didn't just like soak in like they normally would. So I was kind of like, I don't know, I was lost for a few seconds there. I was like, oh god, I can't do this with Copics. What am I gonna do? And so I just like, I guess I'll black it out. You know, when in doubt, black it out. What Todd says. So that's what I did. But in the end, I was actually pretty happy with the piece. I was kind of like, oh, you know, it didn't go how I had planned, but it still turned out well, and I think the red popped really well. So, you know, in the end, it was all right. I didn't hate it. You know what I'm saying? Oreos with ramen. So you're going to eat a bunch of mint Oreos, and then you're going to throw a bunch of salt behind it. All right. I see. See how it is. Doo-doo-doo. Yep. Well, Shelby, interestingly enough, she very much has a Magdalena kind of look in the book, in Noctera. You know? So, yeah. But I mean, it's mostly the hood, right? Like, you know, she has a gray-black hood. But yeah, I went out tonight there a little while ago, and yeah, man, people are so weird. I went to the grocery store to pick up a few things, and it just I don't know, it kind of baffles me, you know, just how weird people are. Right? Like, just in public. Like, and you're just like, you're not really doing anything wrong, per se, but whatever you're doing is weird. And I don't care for it. You know? Yeah. Todd McFarland has entered the chat. Plate. Yeah, I'm doing this kind of weird because I'm leaving this side part to the end, just because it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, I think we probably don't see Leroy for a couple days once he gets his surgery and rests up and whatnot. I think he'll likely chill for a while. I don't know. Could be. You know? I almost freaked out right there. I put that ink down and I turned the page and thought I'd smeared the ink right on top. God, I would have been angry. Because this paper actually, well, I mean, compared to the paper I used on the Turtles piece, I was very, like, not pleased with that Turtles paper. I don't know. I guess that's part of this experiment, is just kind of dealing with things I have less control over. You know? Making it work. Making it work in the end. Because, like I said, like, you know, like I said before, like with digital, you don't like how that eye looks, you just redraw it, right? And I mean, you can do that here. You know, I redrew this eye and fixed it a couple times, but, you know, you can iterate more easily digitally, and I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of iteration. Thicker. Do. Hello, Ice Queen. Hello, K-pop. Hello. Or this water over top of it. For sumo. Listen, do is not the new about. And it's not the new about. It's not the dough. Re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Santana. Possibly Menudo. Yeah, you know. We'll pull that in. But yeah, the I don't know. To me, this has been like an interesting exercise overall in just letting go of it. You know, like I'm still keeping things hella clean. Let's not pretend. But when the line isn't as hella clean as I would like it to be, I'm just kind of, you know, being like, all right. I guess I'll either try to fix it with some whiteout or whatever, but, you know, maybe not. We'll see. You know, because like that's kind of the argument. Like, these are sketch covers. There's supposed to be a certain amount of, hey, this is a sketch. But I'm also like, hey, I'm not at a con. You know, I'm not like sitting at a table cranking these out like a machine. I'm sitting here on a stream shooting the shit and, you know, doing what I want. You know, I don't got somebody asking me to draw Wolverine for the 50th time today. So there's that. And I got some needy erasers. You know, you can scooch all up and crunch in your hands and make, you know, putty. I picked some of those up because I found this a little too abrasive, and so I was like, I'm gonna pick up some of the gummy erasers. You know, in for a penny, in for a pound. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we'll keep cranking away at this art supply thing and trying to find the tools that I like, kind of make this more pleasant. You know, because that's the thing. Like, you don't want to fight the tools, right? Like, you actually want. Like, and it's a weird thing because, like, you know, it's like the poor artist that blames his tools, but not gonna lie, if the pencil lead keeps breaking every 2 seconds, that's not your fault. That's the tool's fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the quality of the lead or whatever it is you're using. So yeah, that's there is an aspect of it that the tool is important. You know, you get what you pay for. Sometimes, not all the time. Caveats, all that. right? Like, see, here's going to be the weird little thing, right? If I was doing this, like if I was doing this in Clip Studio or Photoshop or whatever, this hair would all just be a separate layer, right? That I could do whatever I want with, if I wanted to tuck it all in or have it out or what, you know what I mean? Like I would toy around with it multiple times, right? To kind of get the feel that I'm going for. And so that kind of stuff is why I find digital valuable. Like, at least to me, like as far as what I'm doing and the ability to just kind of change stuff up or try something a different way, you know? If your pencil is breaking, no, like, here's the thing though. Like, I'm using these, and sometimes you barely touch it, and the thing's cracked because sometimes they're just cracked anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, you're right. Like, I have a whole bunch of these little things floating around from the red ones. These little things, because it'll get to a certain point, and then it just kind of pops out because it can't hold it any longer, or the lead is weak, and it just goes and pops out. Yeah, depends. I am going to try, because all the, this one? No, it's a multi-liner. One of the things I picked up had some pencils in. Oh, it might have been the, what are they called? Hold on. Look in my little drawer here. This is television. Where you at? Where you at, bitch? Oh, I don't know where the fuck they are. I don't know. Anyway, the Pigma Microns. I don't know where they are right now. But the Pigma Microns would come with a little pencil, and I thought about using the pencil lead to see if it was, like, I know it's not as waxy, but am I going to trade blue line and red line waxiness for smudgy regular pencil, right? So yeah, one of these I'm going to sketch it out with the just a regular, pencil, and just see what we get out of it. You know, where it's all experiments here. We're trying to figure out, you know, where the land of the rising sun is. You know, the nose knows. Yeah, you got to teach the pencil who's boss, Noah. What? Yeah, like I get most of my stuff from, there's a big, like a really big ass Michaels, like huge, like, you know, Michaels store here. I get most of my stuff there. A lot of the other stuff, like I went to Michaels multiple times and went to other places. I got these off of, and the pencil, I got those off of Amazon. I got a lot of, what is it here? I got these Ohuhu off Amazon as well. These are all liquid fine liners, because I'm just trying, like I tried, you know, the Ohuhus, the Pigma Microns, Faber-Castells. Like, you know, I'm out here trying all these tools, Tombos, you name it. You know, we're seeing what works and seeing what my tool set is going to become comprised of as I kind of figure this stuff out. I go to the X. There we go. Up to the XS. Just as I figure this stuff out, right? Like, because like I haven't been drawn like seriously on paper for, I'm gonna say 10, maybe 15 years. I've been digital for a very long time, and yeah, it just was one of those things where I was like, why do I need to buy all this? Why do I need to buy all these art supplies anymore when I can just draw on this tablet and I don't got to buy anything else? You know, and then there was a lot of people like, you know, whether it was with commissions, or just like, you know, wanting to see, like, well, I won't say wanting to see that the skills are real or whatever. But AI seemed to mess with people's heads so bad that like they just stopped trusting art, and it was like you can tell what's AI. People, settle down. But I think that also speaks to how, I'm gonna say, uneducated, you know, unaware, like, you know, you don't know what you don't know. That most people are about art, like, you know what I mean? So if they don't understand that AI stuff has a look to it, right? Like that you can just clearly see something is AI, and other people are like fooled by it. You know, I guess that's a problem. But like, I just don't think that like the AI is ever going to make the same choices for the same reasons why I would make them, or Shelby would make them, you know, or Noah, or who, like, you know what I mean? Like whoever's making the choices when they're making their art, right? Like, you know, the AI is just going to make the grass. Noah's going to spend a year and a half on the grass, right? And so there's a different mindset there, and you know, one might be better than the other. Who can say? No, I'm not here to praise our AI overlords. No, not at all. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's just like there's all, like, no matter what medium you do things in, the person doing it, the reason they, you know, do eyebrows the way they do them, or the eyes, or whatever, like, you know, AI is only going to compile. There isn't an understanding, or there isn't a, you know, like, that's the thing. Like, if I do 10 pieces and one of them has a purple background and I shade everything with that purple lighting, but the other 9 pieces are all in spring tones, the AI is not going to understand why I made that decision. It's never going to understand that I was looking at God knows what, you know, and was like, oh man, that purple would look really sick with this, you know, maybe because there was like a green highlight or something, you know what I mean? It's never going to be as spontaneous. It's never going to suddenly want, you know, to put pink beside green. Like, it's, you know what I mean? It's not going to make those split-second decisions that affect the entire piece of the art. It's only doing a calculation based on what it has seen before, right? Like, that's, I don't know, that's what it is. It's not interesting. It's just kind of like you're getting a sum of the parts. You're not seeing the whole picture. Oh, really? Well then. Yeah, it could be. There's been a lot of storm on the East Coast. I know a lot of people have been super snowed in and, you know, powered out and all that kind of stuff. So the interwebs might be a little wonky, you know, depending on what coast you're on. That could be a factor in why things wonky. Because yeah, I wasn't even sure this weekend. The weather was pretty bad, and I was thinking about streaming, but I was like, man, I could lose the power at any time. Who knows? I mean, on my end, it's saying that I have an excellent connection. Stream settings, no skip frames, nothing like that. Yeah, it's rock solid 60 frames, 0 drop frames, 0%. So yeah, it might be YouTube's end. But as far as I'm concerned, and I've got really good internet. I've got gig up and gig down, so we're less likely to see any weird issues here, I think. But yeah, who knows what's going on in one of their server farms or whatever. Well, yeah, and that was the funny thing. There was that cold snap. There's a really big cold snap there, and all the Tesla cars couldn't even charge. That was the funny part. All the people on the East Coast were like, "I bought a Tesla, and now it's a paperweight." Excellent. Yep. Batteries just aren't prepared for those minus 20 kind of weather. And, yeah, people figured that out the hard way. Yeah. Is it still buffering? I like here's the thing, Sumo. The story seems really good, and overall the art is pretty good, but there are definitely a few spots where they skimp real hard. You know, where you're just kind of like, oh, that was a very rushed panel. But overall, in general, I'd say the Tony Daniel stuff is pretty strong. But yeah, if there's a trade or whatever out, that might be a good get. But yeah, I picked up a bunch of like oh, there we go. I picked up some Speedball. You know, got little Hunt 102 here, 99s, 107, 108. You know, we'll try some dip pen stuff. Whether it's on one of these covers or on some of the other things I have planned, some of the other commission stuff that I have to do physically. So yeah, there's all kinds of fun coming on these weird streams where I get to, you know, fiddle with and figure out the idiosyncrasies of these tools. Try to figure out what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, you know? Not really in the big, like, why am I here kind of sense, but like, just like, you know, why I would want to use a dip pen over, you know, a pit pen, for example. You know, what technique am I going to get out of it? Am I sacrificing control for fluidity, that kind of stuff, right? No. YJY? I'm not, there's no existential anything. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. Like, who's gonna know, Shelby? Who's gonna know that I did it with a dip pen? Who's gonna know that I totally ruined a cover by using a dip pen on it? But you guys. No, I'm just like, that's the thing. Like I said, I'm just curious about the tools and messing around with them. Like I was looking at weird stuff. I was like, ooh, this might be a fun brush to do, like, dry brush some texture with and stuff like that. And so I was like, I'm going to just experiment with stuff, right? And so I'm just like, yeah, I just want to see what I can do with the tools and just kind of mess around. Because a lot of it is just like, let's see how this goes. Give things a shot. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I'm coming at it from a somewhat like educated enough to get myself in trouble, right? Like I know just enough about it to like really mess it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I'm just like, yeah, let's see how that works. Because like already I've used some stuff and I'm just like, I don't think I would ever want to use that again. I don't know why I would pick this over a pit pen or why, that kind of thing. So there's already definitely been some, some whittling down of stuff. And other things I just was like, hey, I just want to mess with this. Like, I bought a bunch of these brush type pens, because there'll just be some kind of effect or whatever that I'll be like, and it'll be fun and it'll look cool, and it'll serve its purpose for that day, and that'll be fun. Yeah, I actually did pick up. I already got some G Pen, the Nico ones, and the Tachikawas. I got both those. Yeah, We'll see how it all goes. Hello, Fanta. That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm just like trying stuff out. Like I'm just like, for me everything carries over, and so I'm just doing it. And right now, like, it's just kind of just finding what I like to get the result that I would, that would approximate like what I'm doing digitally, right? Like, I just want thin, clean lines the majority of the time, and I don't know. I just don't worry about it outside of that. Like, I'm just kind of doing it, working, and that's all I can ask for. But yeah, there's other things. Like I said, like, I was looking at some weird brushes and things like that, Get my Picus ruler. You know, for type. We're in there doing all our type stuff. But yeah, we'll get it done. We'll get it all done. We'll try it out. We'll taste a little bit of everything. I'll buy some weird pens and try to use them. Kind of trouble I can get myself into and then fix. Because so far I haven't really got into any kind of situation where I felt like I should rip the book in half and throw it out, right? Like, you know, maybe I will. Maybe I will epically just hate what I've done. You know, that happens. That happens. I think that happens to everybody far more than they would let on. As far as like liking what they do. Because most things, like the day after I look at it and go, oh, I should fix this, or I should do whatever. Yeah, it's a Pikachu ruler. For Picus. But it's Pika's, not Pika's. You know what I'm saying? Do. Here. Do. Yeah. That's the beauty of it. Kind of messing with this stuff, right? Because that's the thing, like if I was doing this digitally, you know, you could just fill certain things. You could just go black. Boop. I've just filled it all in black. That spot that I wanted. I have to sit here all day dragging this pen across the paper or this brush or whatever, you know. For certain things, you know, timeliness, whatever, you might just want to drop a black bloop. Other times you don't. You know how it is. Everybody likes a black bloop here and there. But yeah, I was looking at some of the other covers, and I have that yellow Kamen Rider cover and stuff. I hope that paper doesn't suck, because I want to do something fun with it. You know? Welcome to the Thunderdome. God, what's happening in here? Why? Man, this Pika ruler has really upset Awesome One. He has been thrown into some kind of tizzy. Not sure why. No? Get in there. Fill that in. Get. Right? You want it. Girl, please don't go. Who's your favorite new kid? Call me Joey. Call me Donnie. You know? Exactly. French curve, damn Lucy's. I don't know. Do I have a French curve here? I got little cirques, and oves. I've probably got a French curve here somewhere. Oh yeah, it's over there. I'm not getting up. Screw you, French curve. Live your best life way over there. You know? Alright, let's get back over here. While I keep trying to cover this up. Keeping it covered. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Like, that's the thing. Like, I've got it, like, I dug a bunch of this stuff out, right? This is old. Like, notice how yellow this thing is. A lot of this stuff was stuff I used to have and used to use when I drew traditionally. Jesus Christ. And yeah, I'm just like, all right, guess it's time to drag some of this old shit out. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, alright. Alright, we're getting there. We're getting there. The last part is gonna go fast. Or should. No, maybe I'll be pickier with it than I think I'm gonna be. You know what I'm saying? You know. Put the comic in the printer and print it. My God, that would be amazing. I feel like you damaged the book. Would you not? It's too thick. Right? Like. You know how much time that would save me? Right? Because of the limited, I'm OCD in very few things in my existence, but I like symmetry and I like things even, so I will measure things out and I will lay things out so that they fit on the thing that they're supposed to be on in a symmetrical manner, I should say. And so, yeah, like I am laying these out and measuring it out and, like, you know, trying to get them as kind of center as they can be and look clean and everything like that. If I could draw these digitally, sketch the digital thing, and then print it on there and ink it on there, ooh, my God. But I feel like that's, you know, antithetical to what that's even more antithetical to what a sketch cover should be. You know, right? Like I already feel like I'm pushing it as it is, where I'm kind of planning these out and doing a few like rough sketches and then being like, okay, I like how that looks. I'm going to take it over here. Right. You know what I mean? Cause like other people are just like, eh. And I do that too. Like one of the first things I did and posted when I first started drawing traditional, was the girl with her face, and I just drew an oval and then started inking it. I didn't even like put much time into it. I was just like, let's just do it. And you know, I've put more time into these than I put into that first one that I posted like on like Instagram and on Twitter and stuff. And you know, the only thing I didn't like about it is I thought the lips were a little too small. But everybody else was like, yeah, it looks great, whatever. So I'm just like, yeah, you know, you're judging all your stuff harshly anyway, right? And so like that's the thing. If I would have did that digitally, I immediately would have went, lips are a little small, and I just would have redrew it, right? But once the ink touches the paper, you're kind of stuck with it for the most part. You know, I mean, you can go white out stuff and whatever, but it wasn't that important, right? It was just a sketch. I wasn't basing my life on it or any kind of long-term employment or whatever. You know, I wasn't trying to get the girl. The sketch wasn't that, you know. But there is always that part where your mindset about the work just makes you want to make it the best you can make it, right? Like there's no, I mean, you can sketch anything digitally, right? Like I could fire up Photoshop or Clip Studio right now and sketch in it, but like what I'm saying is like it kind of goes against the I don't know, the spirit of the sketch cover to sketch it digitally and then transfer that sketch to the sketch cover. Like, you know, I mean, I like the idea of it. Like if I was going to do like a really high-end premium thing where I was like, okay, I'm going to lay it out. It's going to look like a cover by the time I'm done, you know, but it's on a sketch cover. Maybe I would consider that if that was a thing that was easy enough to do, right? Like if it was like, hey, you could just print on this. You're not going to F up the comic. But you can get your thing on it the way you want it, right? And then everything else is just you inking, right? You know? But that's the thing, like how what's the letter of the law? What are you trying to do? Well, I don't know. Like for me, like most of this has just been kind of an exercise in just kind of going with it. You know, coming up with the idea, putting it on the paper, and you know, seeing how annoyed with the whole thing I'm gonna be by the time I'm done. You know, because some of them I'm actually thinking about scanning them in and then like coloring them or cleaning them up or whatever, and just having them as a separate digital piece. That might be fun, because I know I would like clean things up and tweak things and whatever. It's also a time thing too. I don't think I got the time. K-pop is sloppy dueling. Dueling. And I'd usually make a 3D stamp, 3D printed, dip it in ink, and done. Yeah, I mean, at some point, right? Like, that's not, I don't know. The only reason, like, you know, as I like to say, one of the reasons I'm doing this is mostly to do more traditional work, right? And so going that far seems kind of pointless. You know, it's kind of against the spirit of, you know, just kind of doing something different, right? And so, yeah, I don't know. For me, it's more of an exercise. It's more of like a, hey, you see what I do digitally, and what I'm doing traditionally isn't really a departure from it. You're not seeing anything that's like night and day difference. You can't look at it and go, Oh, he's a good digital artist, quote unquote, but he can't really draw. That's a weird thing. That's a weird thing that some people like feel about it. There's like that weird, like, oh well, you're just a digital artist. You know, you could be using AI or 3D models. Like, you know, their nose is stuck up in the air and they're like, you know, oh my god. And I'm just like, all right. I mean, that's not what's happening, but you know. But yeah, I don't know. I find it all very interesting, like, you know, and especially with like a lot of it, it's like I'm impressed that people get anything done, right? Like ever. I'm impressed that video games come out. I'm impressed that comic books come out. Animation, you name it, whatever it is. It's just a lot of work. It's a lot of you know, guys and gals by themselves in a room, you know, talking to themselves and sometimes randos on the internet, you know. Exactly. Rip Sumo's nasal passageways, or lack thereof. The tiny canals that he does not possess would bring sweet, sweet scents. Oh no. For he is lost. He does not have them. Alright. So, boom. Okay. Ooh. Here we go. We're getting to it. We're getting here. We're getting there. We can leave. In the book, she has some weird ass shit going on. So, in some ways, this is a spoiler. Man, let's get Sumo that nose that he richly deserves. Some men crave, some men yearn to smell the sweet, sweet scents of delicious cookies, cakes, pies, fresh out of the oven. Sumo is one such man who has never smelt the sweet, sweet mama's apple pie lingering on the porch in his country home. With your generous donation, we can get Sumo a nose today. Step right up today and find yourself in the I don't know, the sweet, sweet scent of success. Sumo Thori and a nose. It's a plan I can get behind. You know? I just want this man to understand what I understand. Mom's apple pie. The cinnamon, the sweet sugar. Oh, man. Cinnamon? You know, you ever smell cinnamon, Sumo? I'm sorry, but it's good. You ever say to yourself, cinnamon? And no, you haven't, because you don't have a nose. You weird freak. Disgusted by your lack of a nose. But that's okay with your call today. Your generous donation of $25 or more. You can help Sumo get the nose he so richly needs and deserves. Oh, yes. Oh, we have someone on the line. It is our good friend, Camille. I am just calling to tell you how much I would love to give this man his nose. Oh, and let me tell you something you'll not be knowing about smelling. Oh, I got the chutney, I've got the squishy. Oh, good sir. Please let me give you $25 to help this man get a nose. Oh yes, god damn it, man, he needs it. Oh god. Thanks for calling in, Camille. I appreciate it. Now on to our next caller. You know? And that's what it's like. That's what it's like to be Sumo Thori. Senseless. Senseless in Seattle. You know? Let's get in here. Let's just pull this. You know? Now, someone should be very offended. Da-dee-da-ba-doo. Happy trails. You know? That's just me. That's just me. With some pants. Doing the no pants dance. Do-do-do-do-do. You know? God damn. You sweet, sweet mother of Jesus. Fed to you. God damn it, man. You know? Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do. So yeah, you know. Sumo still doesn't have a nose. It's cool, guys. No one wants that man to know the sweet smell of victory. No one wants him to know what hot garbage smells like in the summer. No, no. Selfish bastards. Each and every last fucking one of you. Disgusted, I am. But, you know, it is how it is. It is how it is. You know? Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. I'll do these pretty quick. Be filled in. You're getting your nose reference backwards. Yes, Sumo is very much like Skeletor. You know? Alright, now. Get fucking wild. Alright. Let's go. I need a drink first. Jeez. It's not like Sumo's like a shambling husk. Ah, he's got lips. Eyeballs. He can see, talk, and taste. He can't smell. But he can lay flat on his face. You know? Hey, Billy. Thanks. Good to see you. You're 32. Hit the live button. What's wrong with you people? I don't understand. Yeah, poor Sumo. Man, he's getting it rough. Like, and by rough, I mean fair and balanced. You know? That's it. Like he says that he's being discriminated against by Noah, right? But I'm like, is it really that bad? Is he crying himself to sleep at night? I don't think so. You know, I have a nose, so I don't know. That's the real question. You wanna ask yourself, would you be crying yourself to sleep at night if you're in Sumo's situation? You know? Some of us are made of sterner stuff, but who can say? You know? That's it. That's all I'm saying. I'm just not saying he's a weak man or a lesser man, you know, for it. Some might. Some might say, let's get this disgusting husk of a man away from me. You know? It might be like, hey, Cher, get your hideous son away from me, filthy hobo. You know? Some might say that. Not me. I'm just saying, some might. You know? Rocky Dennis, you know? He looks like a Ferrari Testarossa compared to what Sumo's going on with that nose. You know? I mean, maybe not. Let's not be so harsh, you know? All right, we're going black tuxedo and a cumber band. You know? That's just me. Get in there. Yeah, see, like, I'm doing dumb shit here. Like, you know? Some people are like, what the hell's happening here? Check out the book. You know? Be like, oh, rainbows, you'd say. I'll be like, yeah, dog. Weird shit. You know? Somebody's a centaur. Damn. I'm sad for your centaur ways, Sumo. No one asked for this. Hmm? Your centaur way. Fairy tales can come true. And you get a nose that's true. You know? It happens. Sometimes men forage for noses. When they come back, they raise their nose aloft. Show it to the rest of the tribe. Declare themselves men. Men of the nose. Yeah. Fairy tales can come true. What happened to you? Yeah, exactly. One half, the other half is at the bottom. Exactly it. We know. We know what's up, Noah. Say to yourself, well, do. You know, see, that's the thing. Like, I like to play around with concept stuff. Like, I could have just drew her, you know, pretty and sitting there, you know, and being like, haha. But I was like, man, you know, it'd be different. You know, and this is the kind of dumb, like, stuff that I go, oh, you know, let's just give this a shot. People are gonna either really dig it because they've read the books, or they're gonna just be like, what the fuck is this? And maybe they'll check out the books. I don't know. But I was just like, this was my first idea. Like, I was just like, boom. This is what's going down. And yeah. Because like there was almost like a part of me that's like, am I wasting one of these blanks by kind of going a little like high concept, a little obscure, you know, because people who aren't fully aware of the book might not even understand what the hell's happening. So, you know. Or everybody is like right this instant running to a pirate site. You know, maybe I am drawing at an amazing speed, Shelby. You don't know. So, like, I'm looking at my stream health, and it says excellent connection. And I look at my drop frames, and my drop frames is 0. 60 frames a second. CPU, 4%. 0.4%. Not even 4%. 0.4. No? I'm just here rocking it. But I take it YouTube is shit in the bed today or something. A couple people have mentioned the buffering. But see, I don't know. I also think why this kind of transition to traditional hasn't been that bad for me, like just kind of going and doing the stuff, is because I like to think about what I'm doing before I do it. Right? Like, I just kind of like I have the image in my head. I will do some sketches. I will do some kind of you know, just some kind of light warm-up stuff, like thinking about the pieces I'm gonna do. And you know, I just like design. I like just kind of making things look good graphic design wise, right? And yeah, you know, I don't know, I feel like that's always been one of my strengths, just in general, is my love of design. Sleep over here. Under the hood. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing too, like, speaking of design, I don't know, I just see a lot of weird characters. Like, people are like, hey, look at my weird four-armed, three-legged character. He's a hero. Check him out. And you're like, what? The hell is this shit? No offense, anybody out there with a four-armed, three-legged character that I just made up, but, you know, things have to be interesting and visually appealing, right? Like, oh yeah, listen, anytime that anything gets graded, like CGC or the gaming ones, all that kind of stuff, man, there's always shenanigans. People are always trying to screw the market, or or do weird things. Like, time and time again, it keeps happening. There's a lot of big scams with the rated and graded video games and stuff like that. You know, that market is as poisonous and as toxic as you could get. You know what I'd like to be doing right now that I haven't done enough of? It's playing Tekken 8. That's right. You know, sometimes you think to yourself, I don't like doing anything. I just want to play video games. And, yeah, that game came out like a week or so ago. And man, I just think about that game all the time. I'm just thinking about Tekken. I'm thinking about my 10-frame punishes. I'm thinking about, you know, what's jailing now. All that stuff. You know, thinking about fighting games. Good time. I used to play and run tournaments and stuff like that. And so it's really hard to not, like, get excited when new fighting games come out. A big part of you know, and you need to do different stuff. You can't just draw all the time and not relax, right? You gotta watch movies, you gotta play games, you gotta do other things, draw, drink, you know, fuck, whatever, you know. Yeah, you know, a little variety, spice of life. Also, you just get burned out so quickly and stuff. Here's my thing. Like, I'm a weird guy in that, like, I'll buy a brand new retro game, right? I'm using, when I was playing 7, I started using Josie, and she's like Muay Thai, like Bruce was in Tekken 6. And she's really good. Big fan of her. She's super fun to play and learn. And since she's not in 8, I've been using Azucena. And so I was like, okay, if you're going to totally get rid of my character, I'm going to learn a new character. And she's great. And she's got all kinds of crazy-ass moves and, like, stances. I used to play King. And Paul. I used to be big King and Paul guy. And... but then as it went on, I just kind of got, you know, like, okay, I'm going to try somebody else. I'm going to do something different. The grading company is there to sub it. Never charge me. Nice. Yeah, but yeah, here's my thing about, like, slab stuff. You know, I get it. But in a lot of ways, like, I'm just like, if I'll buy a rare game. I'll pay $200 or $300 for some old PS1 game that's really rare, small print run, something really cool from Japan or whatever, and I'll open it because I just want to play it. I want the library, right? I don't care about things being graded. I don't care about CGC. I don't care about the video game grading, you know, any of that kind of stuff, because I just want to enjoy the thing. Like, you know, I've paid big money for books just because I want to read them, right? Like, and so that to me is kind of the thing. Like, I want to enjoy the thing. Like, I get, like, there's certainly a appeal to having something like brand new, sealed, ready to go kind of thing, but in general, I mostly just like having access to things, not so much hoarding things, I guess is the weird way to put it. Yeah, like I would get that too. Like a sketch cover, I suppose, would be different because typically you're not so much getting it for the book to read. You're getting it because you want the art on the cover, right? And so I guess I would understand that more, right? That makes a bit more sense to me. I don't even know how long I've been streaming here. Let me look. All right. We're almost done. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, like, here's the thing, though. Like, I think that in a lot of ways, the comic book market has never really been as big as people think it has been, right? Like, when a lot of people talk about, like, oh, Spawn sold 1 million copies. And I'm like, no, it probably actually only sold 250,000 buyers, right? Or less. And they just bought 4 or 5 copies of Spawn #1 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I think that the kind of collector market or the speculator market is the one that was buying all those books. I don't think 1 million young kids ran out and bought a copy of Spawn #1. Whatever it was that was selling 1 million at the time, right? Like, I just don't think that even comics in their heyday. Because, like, I remember a time when, like, there were comic book stores in, like a random girl I would know, her basement, her dad was running a comic shop at it, right? And there was another comic shop downtown, and there was another comic shop across the way, and whatever. Or you'd walk into, like, a pharmacy, and there was, like, instantly just a rack full of comics, right? And so it's not that they weren't available. But I don't know. I always got the feeling that even though that they were around, it was still really, like, niche in the fact that it wasn't, like, everybody buying them and they weren't buying every issue. Because, like, I mean, even when I was, like, a little kid, I wasn't getting anything religiously. Like, I wasn't getting it every month or every other week. I wasn't going to the comic book store. Because, you know, when you're a young kid, you're just going where your parents are taking you, right? Like, you know, so if you were, like, at some random little place and you've seen comics and you got one, you might not see another comic for 2 months, you know? And so, and it's not until you're older, like in your teens or whatever, that you're kind of, like, being like, hey, I'm going to go to the comic shop, you know? So I do think a lot of that stuff is interesting. Anyway, I don't know. I just, like, sometimes I think about that stuff and I'm just like, you know, were things really as big? You know? That kind of stuff. You know, because at least with, like, some things, like if you look at game sales or whatever, there's a lot more open tracking of that stuff. You know, if somebody says they sold 10 million copies, you can 100%, you know, see that there's 10 million copies out in the wild, right? Like, you know, you go to a thrift store or a garage sale, or you walk into EB or GameStop, whatever you want to call it, and you just see that there's 1 million copies of Call of Duty traded in, or what, you know what I mean? Like, and so you know that stuff's out there, you can see it. But a lot of the other ones are just like, hey, I know a guy who has 5 copies of that Spawn book, you know? Now, there's a part of me black at this side. Yeah, Funko Land, yep, Babbage's, all that old stuff. Oh, hey, Dean, how you doing? Yeah, like, and that's what I'm saying, Shelby. Like, that's why I was saying, like, when it, you know, when they sold 1 million copies of Spawn, 4 or 5 of them went to that one dude, right? And so there are about 250,000 of that one dude who bought 4 or 5 of those Spawn books, right? And you know, I think because the speculator market was really huge. Like, I remember even being a kid, and you know, being like, oh, I should get a number 1. Like, what? Oh, I was looking at some old stuff I have. Hold on. Is this over here? All right, look at this. The Others, number 1. I got weird ass junk. I'm gonna call it junk in my thing. Some of my boxes I was going through, and I was like, what the hell is this stuff? Yeah. Funny stuff. But like, what are the but that's the thing, like, the speculators are back for what? What in the hell is, like, are people just buying number 1s just for the sake of buying number 1s? Because I'm sure there are people who are just buying Amazing Spider-Man or whatever, and just putting them in a box, putting them in the bag and board, and then putting them in the box. You know? Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, it's just a very weird market, right? And because, like, I don't think I was in my teens when I got really back into comics, right? And I knew a bunch of people who, like I said, like, there was like a girl I knew in high school whose dad literally just had a comic shop in his basement. And I walked around to the back of his house and went down, and in the back there was this nice cool basement in the summer that just had comic racks all through it. His whole basement was just a comic book store, right? And so, you know, that's that kind of thing. Like, comics were everywhere for a hot minute, but like, yeah, it was, I don't know. There was just parts of it where I was enjoying it, but I felt like other people, you know, were very much like just concerned about weird number 1s, you know, junk like that. Like, I don't know. I don't. All right, now do these teeth. These teeth. Gonna do these teeth, dude. You have a stack of sealed wizards. That's crazy. Like Wizard Magazine, like, you know. What's funny is at one point I got rid of a ton of that stuff, but I like took out like all the like the how to draw stuff in the wizards, and took out like a bunch of like the posters and cards and weird stuff like that. And so yeah, like I just kind of like, and then I just put that stuff in like folders, right? Like I was just like, all right, just do that. Also to check out the Dynamic Forces catalogs for the exclusives. Yeah. Again, yeah, I don't know, like, but I was also like, I was like getting like EGMs and Die Hard Game Fan, Gamers Republic, and stuff like that back then too. Tips and tricks, you know, like I was probably picking up as many video game magazines as I was comics and stuff at the time, right? Because that's the thing. Like, I don't know, the art and design and stuff in video games has always been just as interesting to me as comics have, right? Like there's a lot about there's a shared reverence for sure. Nintendo Power, yep. Yeah, it's funny because like a lot of that stuff is, you know, now like Nintendo Powers are like, oh my god, you know, and that's the thing. I'm surprised that like Nintendo doesn't reprint those. They own them, like, you know what I mean? Like they have access to those libraries, and even if they don't have direct access, there are plenty of people like collectors who would have them, and they could just scan them and republish them. Little bits. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna yin yang this, I think, and hit it with the black. And then I'll probably hit this with some Copics. Here's catalog. Damn. Well, yeah, I mean, back when, like, one of the latest things I seen is there's a new Like a Dragon game, or formerly called the Yakuza series, and that's holding up really well. Wow. All right. I like these covers. Maybe I'll get some more Val specials. You know, they take the ink. Yeah, there's a couple little things I want to clean up there, but I'm actually kind of surprised that it's not all soaked through. I mentioned, I don't know if Shelby's still here, but I did pick up some of those Thundercats blanks. I was like, ooh, Thundercats blanks. I would like to do some of those. That sounds fun. Sounds like a good time. Just nitpicking now, I'm seeing. Up. But yeah, we could use a good Chitara, here or there. The thing people like. Get wild here. All right. Yeah, I don't know if everybody was here when I mentioned it earlier. But yeah, I picked up those Gargoyles and Gargoyles Dark Ages sketch covers. Probably going to do one of those this week. Might do that Liquid Kill one that has that stupid gold woman on it. But I don't know. I think I might incorporate those guns. Like, I might turn the gold of that lady into guns and ink over it so that it has golden guns on it or something. Like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I got ideas to get rid of that stupid person that they have covering up the bottom third of the sketch cover. But I'll use the gold in some fashion. We'll see. Oh. Nico? Who's Nico? That one? I don't know.
Women.
Maybe I am not that bad. I ain't got the Japanese. Maybe order some Chinese. To die.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, hello, Zorak. Brax in the...
I am very attracted to you.
I can hurt you.
Oh, waka chicka wow. This is an outrage.
You know? Sometimes you need a commercial break. Not me. Maybe you. You know? Right? Sometimes that's what you have to do. One thing. There are yin yang happening here. Is this lady cover a dragon or vampire or deadite? I don't believe she is any of those things, but you'll have to read the book to find out. That's the best way to describe it. I don't believe she is any of those things, but there is somewhat a supernatural element to such things. There is a thing. There's a thing that happens, you know? Snacking on pepperoni and Pop-Tart. I hope you're having the pepperoni and then the Pop-Tart, and they're not happening at the same time. Right? Is that just me? Is that just me that finds, you know? Could be wrong. Some people might like the sweet and savory. I don't know. Be me. Little dab there. You know? A little Debbie oatmeal cake. Damn. Little Debbie. Do. Gonna fill this stuff in a few spots. You know how it is. You know. This is my weird. I'll fill this in. Thing happening. I want to respect the font, guys. Respect this font. I'll take it out for a nice steak dinner and never call it again. Yeah, I mean, I could cover it over. I'm not opposed to covering up the Val special. You know. Let's give it a shot. No one will know. No one will know it said Val special there at any point. You know? Yeah. We did it. Yeah. Because it'll make my life easier. All we need is one sneeze. Sumo, it's like you're projecting. Like the things that you want to be able to do. You wish you could sneeze. But here we are. Unable. So close. I get so far away from nasal function. Incredible. No? Rulers are for squares. Alright. We've done some ruling. Just the tip. Alright, now. Let's see. Do I have... I don't want my MB, I want my FB, my BB, my LCD, my LG TV, my ABCs, my DVDs. You know? Alright. In here. Be the most anal retentive asshole I've ever walked. Black this shit out. While respecting the font, guys. Get in here. Let's respect this font. Give it a generous reach around. And, yeah. Take it out, show it a good time. Yeah. Tell her you'll call her in the morning, but you know you won't. It's alright. Because you meant it when you said it. You didn't know you wouldn't mean it the next morning. Pop-Tarts and Bronies. I like it. Gone the places where I thought it would want to go. And I have another one of these. I bought two. Grabbed them. I don't know why, but I was like, I'm interested. I'd like to do a couple sketch covers. Let me try two of them. No? See where the night takes us. You do. Looks like it was meant to be. Excuse me. Almost died there. Died talking about fonts. What a way to go. You know, mid dissertation on kerning. Bam, dead. Huh? What can you do? You don't choose how you go. So you could be the guy who dies talking about kerning. It could happen. All I'm saying. Yeah. You know what? I'm sorry, gentlemen. Just not to say we did. Yeah. No, I'm a big fan of good logo design. Oh, chef's kiss. Like, and that's another thing people don't get around here. You got a lot of people putting out their four-armed, six-legged guy books that look like poop and have a poopy logo. You know what I'm saying? I just said poop as an adult about a logo. But you know what I mean? Like, they're just not you know, the thing you're making, right? Like if you're making a comic or a graphic novel, you're making a package. You're making like I tell people, like, if your logo doesn't look cool enough to be on a t-shirt, you fucked up. Like if someone doesn't want to wear the logo of your comic or graphic novel or whatever with an image of the main character or whatever, or just the logo, if your logo just doesn't look cool, you fucked up. It's already over, right? Like, for the love of God, can some people make some good-looking logos for their stuff? Like, stop. You know, my eyes are not a toilet. Stop putting shit in them. Okay? For the love of God, make good logos. Think about the logos. Now, I'm not rewriting the names in white, Sumo. You get the hell out of here. You go home. Telling ya, for the love of God. Guy's nose disabled and thinks he can come in here and tell all of us scented individuals that they need to change for him. No. That's not what's happening. No? I'm just saying. Out here on these streets, throwing around your disability, you know? Yeah. Here's the funny thing, Ark. I want to be more so. That's kind of the funny part about that. Like, you know, I'm trying to hold back. Not go full retard here. But I just catch little things and go, oh, I should fix that. No? Alright. No. Nah. We're almost there. Finish line. All right. Crunch, crunch. Crunch. Oh yeah, I gotta hit that with a dot of white. Where are my jelly rolls? Jelly roll. All right. Yeah. Alright, we got a jelly roll. Is the jelly roll functioning? This is a thing. Can't just stroll in there and expect that your jelly roll is always going to be working. No. You test it. Test your jelly roll like you test my patience. You son of a bitch. Alright. Let's get in here. Hit it. Oh, yes. Like sweet virgin love. That was clean. I like it. All right. All right. Now I gotta get this little spot here too. You know? Dun, 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 dun. Is the freezing temps affecting your drawings? No, I don't believe they are. I mean, it's very warm in my office right now. I usually end up opening the window for a while. Yeah, we got a crazy winter storm this weekend. I was supposed to go work on the house, but, you know, when they're shutting down all the transit systems and, you know, plows are having trouble pushing the snow around, we're not getting anywhere. There's that. Also, no, there's no J stink. I smell very nice all the time. Listen, it's a gift that I have, Sumo. You would be, if you could smell Sumo, you'd be in for a treat, right? You know, I use nice soaps. You know, I smell good. I stay clean. I take care of myself. You know, you'd be lucky to smell me. All right, that's all I'm saying. Okay, slide this up here so people can get like the effect, the mostly full effect. Now I'm gonna see how well my fun sticky goobly eraser picks up. See, this is where we get into like dumb shit, right? Like, how good is this eraser gonna be at getting rid of this blue line, right? Like, how good it's gonna be, right? We're gonna rip a piece off. We're gonna slap the excess over there, and we're gonna see how annoying this is. Hopefully it's dry. Brush it away. Hopefully it won't stick, you know? I just want it to remove the blue line so that when I hit it with some Copics, hopefully it doesn't smear, right? We'll do something down here because I'm planning on putting shade here. So see how much it picks up the ink. Right, because I already erased on this a bunch, right? Like, I know it erases the blue pencil, but I don't know how it's going to pick up the ink, right? That's the real, you know, Ryan Gosling that we're trying to acquire here. Yeah, that seems fine. I mean, it's lightening up the inks a little. Can touch it up, I suppose. Just where I got so much blue here from when I was sketching it out, I'd like to thin that out a bit. You know? Because I can't not. You know, I've come this far. Right? Why would I stop now? You know? Oh yeah, it seems to be picking it up all right. Yep. This eraser cost me $5. I got it at Michael's. I bought 2 of them. I didn't know how they would be. I bought a cheap one. I bought this cheap Artist Loft one. And then I bought this Generals since 1889 jumbo eraser for charcoal, graphite, etc. You know, I said, hey, let's pick up some erasers, see what's up, you know? And so far, I'm pleased. I'm pleased. Very, very pleased. But yeah, you never know. Never know what you're gonna get. Like, life is like a box of chocolates. You know what I'm saying? Or so I'm told. Right? I'm actually kind of impressed. It's not mucking up the paper, and it's getting rid of the blue line. And not taking up too much of the ink, which is the part I'm worried about. I knew it would erase the blue line. That's not the, you know? That's not the concern. The concern, will my inks go with it? Yep. It's a good. It's a good. So yeah, we've learned a few things about each other today. We've We've learned that I'm somewhat OCD with certain things, not so much with others. I love symmetry, you know? Pull right up through that. I ain't scared. Beautiful. Good, sir. Okay, I don't know if the camera picks it up that well. Okay. Camera does pick up some light spots. See, once you start erasing, you can see the little gaps in the ink, because the blue kind of fills it in with the black. I see a few spaces that I'm gonna kind of touch up, as it were. Also, one of the reasons why I want to get one of these erasers is because when I used where is it at? When I used this one on the green and red covers, it really pulled up the color. Right? Have I thought of using a brush? I mean, sure, I have, but then I'd have to get a brush. And that seems like another step, right, in this whole equation. But I don't, like, here's the thing, like, I find with these gummy things, you're not getting the little bits that are popping up that you would normally get with an eraser. Like, there's not a lot of eraser shavings. That's the word I'm looking for, shaving. I'm gonna pass the shavings on to you. Yeah, there's not a ton of that happening, right? The eraser just kind of kneads into itself. Which is cool. I'm a big fan. You know? But yeah, we're trying out tools. We're trying out everything. You know, maybe at some point I'll say to myself, man, I do need a brush. You know? Because every time I turn around, I'm like thinking about other junk to buy. Right? That's the worst thing about this art scam for artists, is like there's always some other piece of bullshit to buy, right? There's always, like, you know, oh, I've got to get this, or I've got to get this ruler, or I've got to get, you know, I need more variation. Guys, I need more variation in my ovals. This isn't enough. I need more ovals, right? I need more paper. I need more sketch covers. I gotta go buy more sketch covers. You know, that kind of junk, right? There's always some motherfucker out there looking to take my art money. And, you know. And then I go, oh, look at this wonderful new eraser I got. I'm not gonna lie, though, I'm a big fan of this eraser. Regardless of me making a specific trip over to go get this dumb eraser, it actually works pretty good. So, you know, you win this round, art scam. You win this round. You know, I just take a little click on the pen, you know, my digital pen right here. The eraser never leaves any shavings. It never needs to be sharpened. It's any size I need it to be. Something you needed. It's not what I needed. We're the Cars. We're going to play Cars songs now. You know? Wasting all my time. And then you're standing oh so near. You know? That kind of stuff. And then it kicks in just what I needed. Anyway, this is doing a really good job of cleaning this up. So, hooray! Hooray for me. No? I'm curious. I'm almost tempted to take that Turtles one out and just try it on it. See if it picks up that red pencil on that green paper as well. It looks like it does, though. I dig it. You can still see a little blue pencil right here. All right. Right. Excellent. All right, there's a few things I want to touch up that the blue was obscuring its incompleteness. All right. And there's nothing really on it. I'm just brushing out of habit, I guess. All right. Let's get these eyes clean. Girl. You, Mr. MB. I'm looking for FB. Black's more solid. Yeah. Did it diminish the black? Oh yeah, here it got much lighter. Yeah, it's weird. Sometimes like the blue pencil just gets picked right up and then it's like completely faded, and in other spots it's just fine. Because I guess the ink's just sitting on top of the waxy pencil. How's the Keshi business doing, Ark? That's still big for you? Pretty much. Oh, really? Any campaign or anything that you can talk about, or? Oh, have a good night, K-pop. Enjoy the sweet release of sleep and freedom. I don't even know what time it is. Hold on. Oh yeah, it's late. I get it. Alright. Touch up a few of these lighter spots. I'll hit it with Copics. Call it a good evening. Yeah, I have a... somewhere around here. Oh, there it is. I've got a bottle of Speedball Super Black, which probably would have been a good idea to just brush in that area. Oh, man, K-pop is vicious with her attacks on Sumo. Smell you later. The man cannot smell. He is disabled in the nose area, if you will. You know? Talk about picking a man when he's down and out, unable to smell what the Rock is cooking, unable to smell what his aunt is cooking, basically just unable to smell what anyone's cooking, you know? And I mean, it truly is a crime against man, crime against nature. Yeah, I think Sumo's lesser for it, and I feel bad. You know, but it's all right. All right. you know? Boom. All right. Let us discuss the lettuce. Copics, where are you good tools? Got some Sketch and Grays. Get in here. With our Sketch and Grays. Kitchen Grays. Man, I wish this top went over that top. You know what I'm saying? As a person who uses these things, I just want that to happen. Right. In here. Light. See a little blue hitting there. A little blue. Ooh, that picked that up pretty quick. Yeah, take it easy, Ark. Have a good night. Good sir. Alright. This is the thing, the Copics, always the potential to throw everything into chaos. Right? Sometimes the paper just hates them. Don't know why. It does. Most treacherous part of the whole thing, I feel. Get to this end point, you're like, hey, I'm gonna throw Copics on it, and it's like, am I? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Find out. Doo-doo. Yeah, I think it's like, I think it's up to issue 16. So yeah, that would be about 3 trades, at least. Depending on how the story arcs went. Bridge. You know? Yeah, right? Wait for the TV show. That is. Who knows if there will ever be a TV show? The real question. My use of Copics is so amateur. It's like, it's one of the things I really like want to get better at. You know, I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna put simple shadows, do whatever. But I've seen some incredible Copic stuff, and it just makes me wanna really buckle down with it. Understand it. Like, and it's not that, like, I don't know, it's weird because, like, with Copics, you almost want to do things in reverse. You want to build up from light to dark. You don't want to just drop darks in, because then there's no going back. So you want to build up your layers, right? So it really makes it a little bit more intimidating, because you don't want to overwork anything, right? And you got to be careful, like here, to not really get the inks too wet, because they'll just smudge. Yeah, you gotta kind of play it by ear a bit. The chance. Yeah, I've just seen some amazing stuff, but then there's like a point where, like, you know, it's like, how far do you go? Like, you see people doing Copics, and then they're like putting colored pencil and shading and all this, and you're just like, all right, but I just want to do some sketches, guys. Do some whatever. Like, how far are we going here, right? Like, and I get it, you know, it's like an up your game thing. Always learning. Shade. Man, that's so bright. All right, hold on. I'm gonna turn this down a little. See how that looks. Yeah, I could probably go a little darker. Right, see, like, this is the other thing too. Like, you could just drop, like, if I was doing this like in like Clip Studio or Photoshop, I could like mark all this out, right? And then I could make it as dark or as light as I need it to be. Like, I could be like, okay, for the scene it needs to be this dark or this dark, right? I could do it up 25%, or I could go full black, or I could take it to 75% of the black. And so you just get to experiment, right? And that's the thing I really appreciate about working digital. that, you know, you can just take that time to be like, all right, how dark do I want this? How light do I want this? Right, I don't know. That's kind of my biggest thing with doing the traditional pieces. Is like I'm always like worried about overworking, just kind of like not leaving well enough alone. Right, a lot of times less is more. Right, see, every once in a while, Copic just picks up that black ink, and you're kind of like, ooh, I don't like. Yeah, it's like pick up a blob of that ink. Weird and annoying. All right. Right, and see, there's that subtle ring connecting right there, visually. I'm not going to do too much. I'm going to do just some light shading on it, hit some spots, and leave it at that. Right, like, because I do like just the black and white look of it, but it's a little flat if I just left that without any tone to it at all. I'm gonna hit it with a slight touch. A little depth. You know, that's the thing. Like, also, like, you got to be careful with women's faces. Like, every extra line you put on it ages them, so you have to kind of be cognizant of that when you're kind of hitting light and shadow on it. Don't want to do too much to it either. Under the hood, so they should be a little darker. Little fun things like that. But yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting skill. Just some of the stuff I've seen people do with the Copics just really makes me want to kind of get more into them, you know. lightly kiss them. How's this handling Copics? Yeah, see, it's interesting. The inks weren't really going through, but man, the Copics soaked right in. Right, so it's like, it's hard to judge these covers and stuff like that, because you're like, well, it's good for inks, but the second Copics touch it, it soaks right in. See, like the Copic picked up that little line there. Now I gotta fix it. Right? It's like you're working against yourself sometimes. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre. And chest, muscles. We get to the cleave. Right, and I always pick a light source. Like I always go, okay, the light's coming this way. It's gonna block everything off, and stick with it. We say, hey, light source. Let's go. Fade from the hood itself. Dissipate a little. I'm actually looking forward to. There's a piece that I'm doing for Sumo, a large 11x17, and I'm kind of actually looking forward to doing Copics and maybe a wash on that where there's all the trees and stuff like that with the Red Sonja in the background. That's kind of exciting, just to kind of get that depth, you know, in a bigger piece like that. And I'll have so much more room to work on a large piece. Now, these sketch covers you're just so limited, like, you know, in this size range, because you want something that looks clean and nice on a cover, you know, so you don't want to go too small. All right. Kind of just going over this here because I don't want to go a full shade darker. I want to have that depth. Repeated layers are giving me that. I Actually might hit that one. Because it's far, far in the background. So where are we at here? N2. So I'm not dibble-dabbling all day. All day long. Yeah, I don't know. It's the thing that it's kind of weird about doing these is sometimes you're just unsure of, is it the color that is doing the picking up, or is it the ink that gets picked up? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're kind of deciding, like, is it the paper that sucks? Is it the ink that sucks? Does the Copic just ruin everything it touches? Like, you know what I mean? Like, which one of these variables am I fighting? Yeah, that's, I don't know, that's kind of interesting thing, because usually, like a lot of this struggle just seems to be the understanding of the material you're working on. Once you get that down, once you know your enemy, it's easier. Or at least you know what to expect. Probably the better way. To that sit-in point. All right. Alright. Weird, in the camera, it looks like this line is glowing. I don't know if that's what it looks like to you, but that's how it looks to me. Oh yeah, like, I mean, here's the thing, like, I look at this whole process, like just art in general, is there's always something new to learn. Like, I feel like if you think you know it all, it's over for you. You've done fucked up, right? And so I think that's the death of any artist. When they think they know it all, it's done, right? Yeah, you know, I just think that if you that constant want to improve and learn should be there. If it's not, I don't know. Find something else to do, I guess. Right, like, all right. I think that's gonna do it. Either tomorrow or Wednesday, I'll do the next cover, and then I'll probably do the next one Friday. I'll probably do at least 3 this week. I'm gonna touch up, and you know, I'll sign it and post it and stuff in the morning. You know, maybe I'll hit some of these blacks when I see them in the morning. Might be a little light. We'll see. You know, when we blow it out. You know, here. You know, we'll see. Yeah, some of the Copic stuff I might take another pass over, but I think for now I'm gonna call it, and then yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings. But yeah, Wednesday for sure. I think Wednesday for sure. I'm not gonna, maybe Tuesday. I don't know. It depends on how my time is. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I might tweak some of these grays tomorrow. I just feel like I'm looking at it and being like, you know. So tomorrow, I might just touch up a few little things and then just post it online all today. Yeah, thanks for everybody for showing up. I'm gonna push some of these buttons.
Oh, Nutella, not having babies is for gays.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, hello, Zorak. Brax in the...
I am very attracted to you.
I can hurt you.
Oh, waka chicka wow.
How can that be?
I don't bloody well know, woman. All right, let's get straight to the biscuits. At 0800 hours this morning, an American soldier was eaten by a Nazi dinosaur.
That's a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
No, Claire, that's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Try thinking first before you open your mouth.
I'm gonna move this over here. I'm gonna push this button. And it's super red in here. But then if I touch this button, and then touch this button again, and then hold it, and then turn it off, it'll be less red. Camera adjusts. Bizarre. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thank you, Sumo. Thank you, Awesome One. Appreciate it. See, it's blue back here. See right here? Because I got a blue light in the corner that's like... Hold on. Where can I move this? That's shining on my slot machine that's back there. You know? For contrast. You know? But yeah. That's gonna do it for me. Thanks, everybody. Hashtag blessed. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Move the camera thing up. See, this is the camera that's in front of me the whole time. See, we're spoiling it all. Right? This is the magic. This is the movie magic. You know? But yeah, have a good night, everybody. See you later. And see you next time. Alrighty. Bye-bye. Mm.